to talk to you this afternoon, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
How likely do you think it is that this deal between Hamas and Israel will be extended?
Well, there is heavy pressure from the United States now. And as you mentioned, Anthony Blinken went to Israel exactly for that. And the U.S. administration is giving several signs that it is adamant at extending this truce. I think the reason for that is that they have realized that their kind of unconditional support for the Israeli onslaught on Gaza, with the stated goal of eradicating Hamas, is something that is only achievable at the price of an absolutely huge massacre of genocidal proportion. And we have already had in less than 7 weeks, 15,000 people killed in Gaza. So the U.S. administration is realizing that it is to pay. I mean, it's going to pay a heavy price itself for that, including in electoral terms next year. So that's why they are doing, I think, their utmost now to try to extend this truce. They haven't yet had the courage to change their position and ask for a ceasefire, but just an extension of the truce while they are discussing in Qatar a possible scenario that would allow them to put an end to this onslaught.
Do you think it's significant that not just the Mossad chief was in Qatar for those talks yesterday, but the CIA chief as well?
Yes, as well as the chief of the Egyptian intelligence service. They are negotiating. I mean, we know from the information we get about this that they are discussing a scenario which is inspired from what happened in Beirut in 1982, when the PLO fighters and leadership were evacuated from Beirut by sea to Tunisia, Yemen, and other such places. And so there is a discussion about a similar scenario being implemented in Gaza with the evacuation of the Hamas fighters and leaders to countries like Algeria or Libya or Iran. And that's what they are trying to get. I mean, the United States, I'm sure, is pushing for that in the belief that this would allow for an ending of the war at the present stage of destruction and killing, and some kind of political settlement, which would be what the U.S. administration has been calling for. That is a resumption, if you want, of the stalled Oslo process and this perspective of some kind of Palestinian state coexisting with the Israeli state.
You made the comparison between Lebanon in 1982. I wonder if, though there's another comparison I had in my mind, which was 2011, when Hamas agreed to release one Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, for over 1,000 Palestinians. Comparatively speaking, far smaller number of Palestinians are being released now as part of this deal. So strategically, has Israel's agenda changed? What's different between 2011 and now?
Well, what is different is that you have a very hardline government today, dominated also by the far right. What is changed also is that you have a very intense desire of revenge as a result of what happened on October 7. And Israel is not willing, under such circumstances, to get into kind of deal you refer to. I mean, that's out of the question. They are even very reluctant to release any male prisoners because of precisely this precedent that you mentioned, which included the liberation of the man who has been leading actually what happened in Gaza. I mean, including the October 7 operation. So that's why, I mean, Israel is much much tougher in negotiation today, aside from the fact that part of the Israeli cabinet, as we know, was against even this truce and any exchange, and they wanted to just carry on the onslaught until they reoccupy the whole of the Gaza Strip.
Yeah, so that's a little then as to what you make of Israel's strategy right now. Just finally, let's give some time for the strategy of Hamas. We know women and children really are the ones that they've agreed to release so far. Will they now start to release men, do you think, assuming this deal is extended? Will they perhaps consider releasing Israeli soldiers as well?
Well, I think they would. They would like to have a tit for tat. In this kind of release, so they would release men when Israel releases men. That's I think the kind of tacit understanding that there is there. This remains to be seen, but this truce is, the other dimension of this truce, and probably the most important in some way, because the number of people involved is much higher, is the humanitarian aid that is getting through the Egyptian border into Gaza, and that is extremely important, of course. Because from the reports we have, people even thirsty, people hungry, even some of those hostages sharing the fate of the other Palestinians. That's really a very tragic situation.
Gilbert Achcar, we'll have to leave it there, but thank you very much indeed, sir, for your time and your analysis on the programme.
Thank you.